The French would cheer them on. If there is going to be fighting on British soil, it was more likely to be a civil war. And I'm not trying to warmonger, but it's more likely to be the unrest in this country, a civil war, rather than a war with another country.
Just on, I mean, I do share your scepticism, to be honest, Richard, about how would it end up on British soil. And I put this to the former Defence Minister, Sir Gerald Howarth, earlier. I said, look, I can understand how we might be at war with Russia, say in 10 years' time. Let's say Putin gets his way in Ukraine, he declares victory, then he might think, OK, I'll have one of the Baltic states, or I'll have Poland, they're NATO countries, therefore Article 5 is triggered, then we are at war with Russia. And I can understand how British troops would be engaging with Russian troops on mainland Europe. What I can't understand is how it ends up on British soil. However, I suppose the threat, is it not, is that if we were fighting Russia in Europe, they might launch missiles at us, or they may launch cyber attacks on us.
Yeah, and you're accurate there. But the fact is that when you talk about fighting on British soil, that we have a nuclear deterrent. If they are going to start firing this, I mean, we have got drones, we have got nuclear weapons, and we've actually got some quite sophisticated aircraft. I mean, we helped defend that channel against the Houthis not long ago, along with America. We have actually been active in those places. We've still got a base on Chagos Islands. We're not that much of a sitting duck, and the nuclear deterrent we have is as effective as the Russians.
Is it though? I mean, I just wonder. We've had attacks by the Russians on UK soil. Okay, very different type of attack, but the Skripal poisonings in Salisbury in 2018 was an attack by Russia on British soil. And I wonder if they sent missiles, for example, over to, I don't know, Gravesend. I'm not picking on Gravesend, but just to choose a place, whether we would really send our nukes in return.
But we wouldn't have to. We could do it pro, I think it's the right.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. And what I'm saying is that we have the drones, we have the missiles, we have. It doesn't all have to be nuclear weapons, and we have the same range as them. They might have more than us, but they've been fighting a war for 4 years. They've lost millions of men. They've lost a lot in terms of armoury and tanks and all those conventional weapons.
And what about China, Richard? Maybe we're ignoring China.
Well, if China did form an axis with North Korea and Russia, that's when America and Trump and all the other countries, NATO. We have got NATO, and there are other countries like France and Germany that have got nuclear weapons, right? That are also there's a lot to get through before you get to Britain, and Britain aren't the biggest problem for anybody. But what we have, well, hopefully we still have, because it doesn't look like it much now. We have a major alliance with the most powerful country in the world at the minute, and to be honest, trying to pick on Britain, right, for no reason, or trying to start a war with Britain. You're starting a war with America.
Well, are you though, Richard? Because here's a question for you.
Yeah.
In the First World War, Woodrow Wilson came to our aid. In the Second World War, Franklin D. Roosevelt came to our aid. Would Donald Trump come to our aid in a Third World War?
Well, I think, first of all, that he would, because in the same way as he doesn't want Iraq to have a nuclear deterrent or a nuclear weapon, he knows that we've got one and we're capable of using it, and we're not a sitting duck. But also, he would want Britain to be an ally of his. He'd want NATO to be an ally of his, and that's the balance that we've got now. But you're talking about a global war rather than a war on our doorstep, on our soil, and I simply do not think that's possible, will happen. And what I would like to see, if we are really thinking about that, instead of spending all the money that they're talking about, let's take some of those people that are inactive, that can't work. Let's put them to work. And they don't have to be soldiers. They can contribute, and computers, Wi-Fi, all that stuff. They can help build munitions, help build ships, help build tanks. There's somewhere that people can get back to work and then contribute, and we can build up from the bottom. All this war, all this concern that we need to spend all this money, stop net zero, put it into, if we are in danger of a war quite soon, it's a closer danger than net zero is. So let's take that money, scrap the net zero, and put it into our conventional army.
Richard, thank you. Richard in Chiswick there, 0345 6060 973 to have your say this morning. Do you believe the government's warnings that the UK must prepare for a wartime scenario on British soil? We'll get to more of your calls in just a moment. It's 10 to 2 now. James Hansen here with you on LBC.
This is LBC.
A southern train is a place where you can just switch off. Where you have the chance to scroll your feeds as you roll past fields, or simply relax with a podcast, playlist or power nap. Go with your flow and stay